debt collection lawsuits are at an all-time high. By the time you finish watching this video, you're going to have the knowledge and the know-how to be able to fight back against debt collector lawsuits. Now, I want to let you in on some information that is not widely known, not widely reported in the news. And right here I have the state of Indiana. And there was an organization that did some research on how debt collector lawsuits were affecting individuals and the rate of lawsuits and the number of people or the percentages of people who do not have representation when they're getting sued, and the number of judgments and default judgments. And when they had gathered their information, a lot of the stuff that they wanted to learn about, they were not able to get because it's not being reported from state to state. As a matter of fact, in their reporting, they stated that only 8 states would even give information because only 8 states were tracking some of the information. So what I have right here is the state of Indiana, and you can see from 2021, from what they were able to gather from June 2021 to May 2024, over 403,000 people were sued by debt collectors. And 97.3% of these individuals who were sued by debt collectors did not have legal representation. Now, we can put 2 plus 2 together and understand why they don't have legal representation. They don't have legal representation because they can't afford it. They're already struggling. And they don't want to end up filing bankruptcy, which is what most attorneys will tell you, hey, why don't you just file bankruptcy? And they don't want to file bankruptcy over a debt that they have a feeling on the inside that there could be other resolutions available for them. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. One of the other things that they were amazed at that was not being recorded was that the percentage of default judgments. None of the states was actually putting a number on it. Now, from my own research on what I was able to gather, about 98 to 99% of these debt collector lawsuits end up in default judgments. And some of the times people show up and they still get a judgment. And the reason why is because they don't know how to respond. So even when people were showing up for their case, because they did not respond appropriately, this is something that you need to understand. When a debt collector takes you to court, they send you a summons. That summons is put together a certain way because the court requires it. So now you have something, a document, a legal document that you must respond to because the court is now involved in the disagreement that you have with the debt collector. So it's not just about sending something to the debt collector. You must respond to the court and you must respond a certain way. If you don't do that, even if you show up, you're going to automatically lose. So let's talk about some of the things that you need to be aware of to be able to fight back against debt collector lawsuits. So now, let's go over the worst case scenarios. If you do not respond to that summons, the worst case scenario, because everybody wants to know what is the worst that can happen. Your wages can be garnished, and they will garnish your wages per pay period. They're not gonna set up some special arrangement for you to do it on a monthly basis like you were paying the original creditor. They're gonna take it out of every paycheck because they want to get that money as quick as possible. They can also seize your bank account. This is something that we've had people call our office and they were like in shock. They woke up in the morning and their money was taken out of their bank account, and they were wondering, how is this able to happen? It's because they get a judgment against you and they'll go and get a writ of garnishment of your bank account. So they'll take the money that's in your bank account And then every time you deposit money into your account, so if your paycheck goes into your bank account, or you just put a little bit of money into your bank account that you were saving, that money will be garnished and the bank has no other option. You can walk up to the teller and say, "This is my account. Don't give them my money." And the teller, the bank manager, the bank president, they have no other choice, because this is going to be a court order that will be right there on your account stating that when money comes in, money goes out to that debt collector. The next thing that they could do is they could go after your assets. Now, one of the ways that they've instituted to take assets that were not paid off, a lot of people were like, if my car is not paid off, they're not going to take my car because it's not paid off. What they start to do now is debtors examinations. They're going to look at your unpaid assets. And if they feel through that examination and whoever they have appraise that asset, that they can pay it off and then resell it for any portion. They don't have to get all of the money. For any portion of the debt that is owed, they're going to do it. This is one of the tools that they put in their toolbox to be able to go after people to collect on that money. So now, if you have a summons from a debt collector or original creditor, there is a deadline. Depending on your state, it could be 14 to 30 days that you have to respond. You have to file an answer to that summons. If you don't, you're going to lose by default. You don't want to lose by default. I just went over exactly what could happen if you lose by default. Now, when you respond to that summons, you need to pay attention to something, and this is why people end up with a judgment even though they're in court, is that you first must respond to every allegation that is in that summons. If you don't, you could end up losing by default. Then you must put forth a defense to defend yourself against those allegations and the claims that are being made by that debt collection attorney who is representing either the original creditor or the debt collection company who is suing you. So the problem with most people and why the number of default judgments and judgments is so high is because people just don't know how to respond. It must be put together a certain way. It must be said a certain way. And people are just not educated on how to do that. So the solution that I would like to make available to you is to go to our website, summonsmaster.com. The link is either below or above this video. Summons Master is an AI-driven legal response to any debt collection attorney or original creditor lawsuit. It will do everything for you. It will scan your documents and look at how your case is put together and put together a response based on your specific court case within minutes. And it'll give you the ability not only to respond, but to win your case outright. All you have to do is upload your documents. Wait a few minutes as it scans your documents. Wait a few minutes as it puts together the answers to every allegation that has been put forth to you by the debt collection attorney. And then put together a defense based off of the allegations in your case to help you win your lawsuit. And all you have to do is print it out, sign it, date it, give one copy to the court clerk, give one copy to the attorney that is representing the debt collection company or the original creditor, and sit back and let them make the next move. So click the Learn More button right now to learn more about summonsmaster.com.